Welcome to the bold analysis. I have been following reaction of William Ruto's bloggers, or allow me to say supporters, in different social media pages. And I see a situation where there is a mood as if they're a bit disappointed. I want to ask this to William Ruto supporter. Are you disappointed? And why? I was just checking Twitter, and there is a lady I hope I can retrieve that Twitter. Some lady known as Bianca. Yes, Bianca. This is what she's saying. We are extremely infuriated. Our stand was William Ruto was not Uhuru, Kibaki, or Moi, but he has proved us otherwise. Whoever said Uhuru, Raila, Kalonzo, and Mudavadi are political cousins was not far from the truth. Once again, we feel betrayed. From what this lady is saying, this lady is for those who follow Twitter know very well that she's a very staunch supporter, a very big blogger. And even though she seemed aligned towards Rigathi Gachagua. From what she has said in that tweet, those people is calling cousins. The only person who is not there, the only person who is currently in government is actually Musalia Mudavadi. Uhuru, Kalonzo, Raila. Kalonzo, Uhuru, Raila are actually out. So technically, he's trying to insinuate that the people that are behind it probably is because Musalia Mudavadi, rather to blame Musalia Mudavadi, pushing Musalia Mudavadi for it. He was reacting to Aaron Cheriot's tweet, and I don't know why people are coming up with a lot of justification to justify the decision that Ruto made yesterday. He's saying, I understand the apprehension and cockiness of Kenya Kwanza supporters. They know quite well that what happens to an administration when it goes down that road. However, we ask you to please trust us. As your parliamentary leadership, we know what's haram and a no-go zone for us. Directly, this man is speaking the voice of William Ruto. And he's trying to look like he's like wameshtuka, like begging that please bear with us. I don't know who's going to listen to his voice. Bear with us. And I think now they're eating their humble pie because there was a blunder, a narrative that was framed to embolden and profile the character and personality of William Ruto as a metal, a man who is movable. It can be right, and no one would challenge that probably William Ruto is a hardliner. That one we have to appreciate. You know that. William Ruto is a hardliner. But he's never been to the position he was in for the first time. In 2007, when he was a hardliner around Raila Odinga and did not accept even the handshake between Raila and Mwai Kibaki, he was far from power, far from the decision-making table. In 2017, he was a hardliner around Uhuru Kenyatta and was a deputy president. Now, here is a situation where he will become a hardliner when he is the person who is the president. There was a difference. This country is led by, as in Ruto is the leader of the country. The hardliner thing, according to me and framing his character, would fit or suit some chama, some group when they are, but when it comes to managing the country, I can tell you, those were actually sponsored to try to say what was going on. But there was a time that the ceasefire had to be. There was no option out of it. And I think in my analysis I said, a time will come when we shall have the ceasefire. It's a must. It was a must. There was no option to it. There are no two sides of it. The ceasefire was a must. Why Ruto had to go for the ceasefire? I want to look at it in a manner that I know no one else have been trying to look at it. He blinked fast and really shocked many people. But this, according to me, are the 4 reasons that set the grounds of saying, fine, I can step down. First, we need to know that there were exchange of emissaries from both ends. William Ruto sending emissary to Raila Odinga and to Uhuru Kenyatta, and Raila Odinga sending emissaries to William Ruto. It was that back and forth. And the UD politicians created a narrative that Uhuru Kenyatta was the person behind it. This was to clip Raila off the sphere of influence, that the man who is maybe behind the influence was actually Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But far from that, I wouldn't want to look at that. Maybe I looked at that at some other analysis. There are some 4 reasons why William Ruto had to step down. If you have another reason, I want you to add. But my one thing is this. The illegitimacy question that Raila staged with the whistleblower report that he garnered 8.1 was actually sinking in the population. The illegitimacy. And I can tell you that it became very difficult to counter the 8.1. Let's take it as it is. The whistleblower report that Raila was insisting on, the 8.1, was never challenged neither by the commission nor by the political machineries. And you wouldn't expect IBC to come out and give a counter. And Raila maintained that. And I think the reason why he maintained that is because it was never answered. You know, when he said 8.1, no one even said to repeat, okay, fine, we got 7.1 of what the IBC announced. So the question of illegitimacy was not a very small question, because even if you were to ignore the 8.1, the gap between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, according to the former IBC chair of Chebukati, was 200,000. In a country that has a population of 50 million, someone is telling me about a population of 200,000, a gap of 200,000, that is not a super majority. That's not a majority, to say the truth. So that is why I insist that the illegitimacy question was huge, and it will deal a blow to William Ruto in this second reason. I think it had a bearing in 2027. Let me say it is. I looked at the scenes, and some of us we had the privilege of getting some footages that maybe we could not publish. Now, there were footages that when you see, and you happen to also have an ideology of visiting the clips of 2007, in 2017, the clips were somehow the same. So let me tell you, probably the discussion, the discourse is about 2022. But we should never forget, and that is what it is, that we also have an election coming, 2027. Not by our making, but by the Constitution. So we must have an election in 2027. Now, without ceasefire, I don't want to be an alarmist, but without ceasefire, from what we had, what would you expect? There was political tension and hostility. Remember, 2 UD officers were burnt in Kisumu and Siaya. I'm told they want to go and repaint them. But we were actually plunging the country in that anarchy, not now. You could even create that ceasefire. And that's why I can say, you can create, if this ceasefire cannot be honest, we need to be very sensitive to the fact that we are not just fixing 2022, we are fixing 2027, and 2027 is more dangerous. It's more dangerous if we don't fix it now, because we should not run the risk of getting to 2027 without answering the question of winner takes all. We were here because of winner takes all. We should not go to 2027 without that. There is the other thing that I know many people took it lightly. Raila Odinga push and Azimio was morphing into a political movement for democracy and change. You will see young people, border people, and people with political ambitions putting on the cap. And that's Galia. Even Raila Odinga, during that mass action, that's what they were putting on. You see Raila, you see Matt Kalonzo Musika putting it. You can take it lightly. Probably you can look at it as just sort of branding. But look at what happened in Uganda. That was the kind of political mobilization. That was a mobilization strategy that Bobby Wine used. And I honestly believe that Bobby Wine did not lose that election. Probably, he did not lose. And you could see, for our friends from Uganda could see. Now, that would tell you that it was morphing into not even a political party, but a political movement. And if you were to face it with the bullet, who knows? Who knows if you would have gone down that path? So even William Ruto knew very well that there is a bit of this talk going on, but you cannot underestimate what exactly the Azimio team was evolving into. And that will get this grasp of the youth. Lastly, questions are asking. Where does this put the Mount Kenya political matrix? I think Ruto knows very well, and that one someone should tell Rigathi Gachagua, that Mount Kenya political matrix can be solved even away from Rigathi Gachagua. What am I saying? William Ruto can still get votes in Mount Kenya, the few he needs, or the ones he needs there, without the input of Rigathi Gachagua. I don't think when he went there, and that's what the Rigathis should know, when Ruto went there, he went to the churches, these other MPs. He did not go there with a kingpin. He did not go there with a kingpin. And even without the kingpin, he will still use the same model and get to speak with the people. The intention that probably Raila may not be on the ballot. Let's look at Uhuru's farm revisit.